The night's long shadows have dragged you through time and across worlds to kneel here before my worm-eaten throne. I offer you now this one chance to walk away with your lives and your souls intact. Please, tell me our story.
The Bloodsea, and we lay anchors where they fall. Every night we pray that the tide won't take us all. Let us break the waves, let us all be brave, for the vengeance of we lies beneath the Bloodsea. The Bloodsea, and we remember those that died. Every time we fight, ancestors gird our pride. Let us smite our foes, let us honor those, for old spirits of we lie beneath the Bloodsea. The Bloodsea, and we carve our destiny. Every day dismay, if shackled we may be. Let us break our bonds, let us soldier on, so free we can be beneath the blood sea.
In the distance, green lightning crashes, splitting a dark and stormy sky with dozens of electric tendrils. Again and again, that green fire reaches down from above, stretching towards the great whirlpool in the ocean, known as the Maelstrom. Rookh-Ohn sings, a young Minotaur captain of a small, daring longship named the Redemption. The longship is speeding over crimson waters towards that distant maelstrom. Welcome to the Bloodsea. What remains of the once great empire of Istar? Nearly 400 years ago, the gods left the world of Dragonlance and a mountain crashed down from the heavens, sinking Istar and its blasphemous king priest into the bowels of the sea. The world called it the Cataclysm. Now we find ourselves back from our current storyline, back in the age of despair, years before Rookh-Ohn would ever meet Sir Riordan, before he would ever enter the lands of Nightland. A small party of 12 adventurers, all Minotaurs of Clan Agaruk, are sailing on the watery border of Maelstrom's outer reach and its tightening ring. As Minotaurs, lifelong sailors and raiders, you all know very well, the closer you get to the Maelstrom, the whirlpool said to be a doorway to hell, the abyss itself, the more dangerous your situation becomes. No one that you have ever heard of has sailed beyond the tightening ring and lived. An impossible riptide, storms of green fire, the ghosts of all of the innocent children who died in the cataclysm, and gigantic sea devils the size of cities are just a few of the dangers said to lie in the nightmare sea beyond. And yet here you are. Your small longship is sailing to the edge of the known world, its captain singing into the storm beyond. And so I'll ask each of our cast today, tell me who you're playing, why they are here, and how they feel as they stare into the dark heart of the Bloodsea. And first, I would like to welcome Greg.
I am playing as Gronath, and I am here because my friend is the captain. I fear nothing. My friend commands these seas as he commands the boards beneath this ship. My pride is his pride, our adventure shared. I have no fear with Rookh-Ohn on the boards.
And another that we will be focusing on tonight, another story that must be told. Hi, Tia. Welcome, and who will you be playing tonight?
I am playing Morala Sharpspeaker. I am here because my clan bids it of me. I am also being put to certain tests and trials. I am a Minotaur of few words, but there is nothing more important to me, my clan, and my people.
We return to Rookh-Ohn, the young captain, at the fore of the ship, and another figure approaches the captain there, even as the wind blows his fur, even as the waves lap up against the edge of the long ship. It's Kraga, a female warrior of Clan Agaruk, a very close friend to Rookh-Ohn, a very close friend to Hesgronath. She stands a few feet back, watching silently as the captain's song ends.
Rookh-Ohn, what do you look like? What do you do today? What is different about this Rookh-Ohn than the one we know?
This Rookh-Ohn is different. He is thicker in sinew, not nearly as emaciated as he was when we found him in episode 1. He has eaten well. He has enjoyed the spoils of similar trips as this one. And he has a history of winning. He is a lot less scarred, and he's a lot more hopeful. There's a light in his eyes that the open sea gives him that you did not see up until this point. And the way he's gone about earning these wins, you have not seen yet up until this point either.
The red water of the Bloodsea continues to crash up against the side of the ship. This is further than any of you have ever sailed towards the Maelstrom before, much further than what is safe, but still the ship stays strong. The crew, some of them humming behind you, tending to the sails, bilging the lower decks of the ship to keep the water out of it. Some of them scared and anxious despite how fearsome Clan Agaruk and the Minotaurs are. This is a dangerous situation. As you stand there looking out to the sea, Rookh-Ohn, roll me a perception check.
All right. Perception
11.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah. So you can barely see something glinting off in the distance, a few leagues away. There's an area covered in mist. Now, most of the sea here is open, but for the storm and the distant crashes of green lightning. But there is a misty area just a couple of leagues away. You could sail towards it or away from it.
Rookh-Ohn looks around at his crew to try to gather the morale. Should I roll an insight?
No, you know your crew well enough. I'll tell you, Kraga, who's standing nearby, holding onto the rails, looking forward as well, offers you a small smile. She doesn't look nervous, but you will notice that some of the crew does. What about, let's bring in the other two here. Where do we find ourselves, and how are we feeling as we're here on the edge?
Nothing. I look out across the sea. It is a piece of me. It is my home. I do not fear death. I know it will be a welcome embrace when it comes. And if my leader is saying set sail in one direction or another, it doesn't matter, as long as we go together.
There is no indecision in Has-Grown-This eyes. He is not the captain. And even if he were, he knows they're on the right path. The path that his friend, his brother, has taken them on. He doesn't look to the right or to the left for a heading that they are not on. He looks straight ahead for the heading that Rookh-Ohn has put them on. And he is ready.
Roll me a perception check, Greg.
All right, it's time for us to bring in the Die Hard Dice Cam. So with an 11 plus 1 is 12. 12 for Has-Grown-Us.
That is so fucking cool.
That is cool.
That is fucking cool.
So with the Die Hard 12, as you sail towards the distant isle, the isle that you have all learned exists somewhere along the tightening ring, that a slave that you've captured in a previous raid has said, here is a place, a secret place with treasure, old treasure from the Age of Might. As Groneth sees it, He sees the reflection, the glint of light through the mist. You see also the stirring of a great wave rising a league away from you, somewhere between you and the isle. And you've sailed long enough to know that this wave could be trouble. It's rising too fast, too high. If it were to reach you, it could smash your ship or turn you asunder.
Asgroneth, do you see the mists? Do you see the glint?
I see it. Even if he doesn't.
There is where we shall set sail. There our destiny lies. We must traverse the storm. There is our destiny.
Are either of you proficient in navigation? Any of you?
That comes with the pirate background with like a seafaring vessel.
Has
Roll me a
as
navigation.
well, yeah.
You can both do it, yeah.
What check is that through? Would that be
Navigation.
Survival?
Survival.
Yeah, it's survival. Sorry.
I'll go back to the Die Hard dice cam then.
Oh
I
boy,
want my own.
that's a natural one, but a confident natural one.
The most confident natural one that I've ever seen. Sailing straight towards the storm. And what of Hesgroneth?
Asgroneth rolls 10 more and 11.
Wolf here, who is the one manning the ship, he's the one who steers the ship. He follows your orders, and you turn towards the crashing wave as it rises towards the mist. You almost break over the wave before it reaches a dangerous height, but it does turn just in time, and that red water smashes the side of the ship. You can hear the cracking of wood. The entire ship rocks to its side. One of the sailors, young man, the youngest in your crew, is knocked overboard into the waters. And before anyone has a chance to jump in or throw a rope after him, you see him pulled into the crimson of the ocean behind you. As your ship continues to rock and be pushed by this wave, I need one more navigation check. This one specifically from Rookh-Ohn. Survival.
14.
How does Rookh-Ohn respond to this crisis?
Grabbing the side of the ship that is closest to him, he turns back. Brace yourselves! We've prepared for this moment. If you fall from the ship, your destiny is your own.
And just as he says that, Kraga, the female warrior, the close friend of Rookh-Ohn and Hesgroneth, smashes and slides to the side of the railing. She hits the rail and begins to tip over, gripping onto it, but she's barely holding onto the side as the ship is rocked by another large wave.
Asgroneth does not hesitate. He immediately goes for her.
Make me an athletics check.
You all know what's happening now. Whee! So with a 12 in athletics, that would be a 17.
You catch her arm just as she slips off, and you're holding her there. The wind is whipping through both of your fur, and even though she is on the edge of falling into the sea, she smiles eagerly up at you, and she mouths the words, "Thank you." She's holding there onto your arm, and then she reaches up and grips your arm with her other hand, and she pulls herself back onto the edge of the deck.
I would like to, while all of this commotion is going on, even though I'm not as Steve-fared as my fine friends, help to tackle things down, take the sails, put us in a more solid direction. that I can do something to help the ship stay steady.
What's a skill? What's an ability you'd like to use?
If I can just use pure strength to wrestle some of the ropes and the sails into where they need
I'll
to
let you do athletics. Yeah, give me an athletics.
That was a total of 10.
One of the masts is cracked, and several are tying ropes around it, trying to hold it into place so that it doesn't splinter altogether. You're able to, in this moment, help them steady it. It's still cracking. It's not going to hold. It is definitely going to require repair at some point. But it's at this point that the ship starts to even out a little bit as it comes up over the top of this second large wave. As it does, you see that you've nearly crashed into and barely avoided a rocky reef. This is just about a league off now from that misty isle that you were starting to sail towards. And this reef hides a galleon, a ship half sunken, its rotted wood groaning against the riptide. And waves of the hue of blood crash up against the galleon's side, spilling through a large hole in its deck. While the ship looks old, very old, you can just make out a name on its side. It's illuminated by the lightning in the distance, and the ship is, or at least was, once named the Bearded Lady.
Rookh-Ohn turns to Haas. Everyone loves a galleon. No one loves to pilot a galleon through a coral reef. This is why the longship is superior.
Yes! We must watch for the low water. And he's turning to see if it's anywhere near them, for though he believes his captain has groaneth, needs to check.
Go ahead and make me a survival check.